Good afternoon. No, not good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Public Opinion Court, where the truth ain't reality, but opinions are. And what are we on? Today is Thursday. This is day 12 of the FreakyRico trial breakdown, where Public Opinion Court has collaborated with real life street stars to bring you nightly recaps of the testimony that happened in the Freaky Rico trial, the first and only probably ever Freaky Rico that will ever be tried unless they go out and get the others. But y'all, listen, today was heavy. I'm not gonna hold you. It was twists and turns out of this world. Um, and as you come in, I want to make sure that you like and subscribe to the Real Life Street Stars YouTube channel. Because listen, today, if we don't get the likes up, because there's almost 200 of you in here, and if you can go ahead and click that like, because if you want me to reveal who Jane Doe is, then all the likes don't have to, I'm gonna have to see the likes. I'm gonna have to see the likes because I'm not revealing the identity, because I know the identity. You know how I know? Because I did my research and I confirmed, and it's very much who this person is. And I'm gonna tell you like this. Before I get into hot topics, this is a Caucasian woman. And you all know how juries feel about African American men being accused of sexual assault. This individual is Jane Doe to the court, not Jane Doe to the world. So therefore, and then hold on, I'm not the only individual. There are other news media that has broke who this person is, because she's only Jane Doe to the jury and for the purposes of that lawsuit. But what you need to be mindful of is the government should not have made certain identifiers of her. They made it so plain and so clear, which is what I was going to talk about, that anybody, even Stevie Wonder, could have found who this person was. So I'm revealing what the world knows if I decide to. So like I was saying, juries hate to see a white woman that is a victim accusing a black man of rape. And let me tell you why. The Me Too movement was started by a black woman. You know how the Me Too movement became such a massive thing? Because they associated it with white women. So we not gonna act like what happened today when I talk about it, because it was bad. I'm not even gonna hold you. Diddy is a monster with a capital. D, there's no such thing as a person being anonymous in the United States of America. And I get that. I don't take what you're saying anyway. But there is a reason why what the government did is how people found her. They could have chose a different line of questioning, but they didn't. They could have chose to not ask certain questions because I understood that as a former prosecutor. But they didn't. And I guarantee you the defense and their trolls have already released her information. The only way I confirmed it is because of what they were saying. And then I went to check on somebody's social media page to confirm it. It was really that simple. And it was sad. So as you all are coming in, make sure you are liking and subscribing so that we can get into another explosive. It just makes your skin crawl when you get out of a day of this. But before we go there, I wanted to jump into the hot topics. Y'all, listen. I covered the Tory Lanez trial. Good evening, grand evening. I feel bad for her. I think being a part of this trial is the last thing she wanted to do. She did not want to do it. That is not true. That is not true. Hold on, let me answer this. MTR put Jane Doe and Mia are two different victims. Jane is victim number 2. Jane was not. That is a lie. The court literally told the public, the people that were in the court, they could not record. And she was going to be identified as Mia. What you have to understand, MTR, is when an individual has been classified as Jane Doe and they're going to testify anonymously, they get to pick a name because you have to put something on the record to identify this person. You cannot have on the record in a federal criminal case, your name is Jane Doe. It's not how it works. So this Jane Doe, who also has a civil suit that is classified under Jane Doe. So I'm not sure if you are aware of that. She has a civil suit pending under Jane Doe. But this particular individual, Jane Doe, who is being classified as Mia, and that is not her name. And you know how I know that's not her name? Because I found her identity. Found her identity. So now let's get to the hot topics because I followed this particular trial, the Tory Lanez trial, from the beginning to the end. And let me tell you, in the beginning, I was not feeling Tory Lanez. Let me tell you why. Because he was using the court of public opinion to try his case. He was using the court of public opinion. But then there were inconsistencies that started to come to light. Like Megan inconsistency, the lies that she would tell and was telling on national TV, her behavior, Kelsey getting immunity for what? But I would tell y'all when I was following the case and when I was, because you could not record during that trial. So when I was following that case and when I was looking over everything and then listening to evidence and testimony, I was like, the state did not do their job. And let me tell you why. When you have a case where a defendant is accused of shooting someone, whenever law enforcement gets a call for a shooting, they are required by law to test everyone's hands for GSR. They do a GSR kit on everyone's hands that are at the scene. So there should have been, regardless of what distance you were, because gunshot residue travels. They should have did one on the bodyguard or whoever, the driver guy who didn't show up to court. They should have did one on Kelsey. They did not. They should have did one on Megan. They did not. They did it on Tory. On that gun, they should have tested it for DNA. They did not. They had a fingerprint pulled. You think they put that fingerprint in to have that fingerprint compared to the individuals who was at the scene? No. Those are essential elements and aspects to an investigation. And it's also required because you are at this moment not testing evidence that is in the possession of the government, who is required. And they're required under Brady v. Maryland. And in the state of Texas, it's something called the Michael Morton Act that they're trying to do away with to give prosecutors even more leeway to get people wrongfully convicted by hiding evidence, which I think is ridiculous. So when you look at those aspects of specific pieces of evidence that was not tested, there is doubt placed. Now, for me, I do understand why Tory filed an appeal, especially citing some inconsistencies of his lawyer, because there were some things that they should have made sure was done that they simply did not. So here we are, and people are in an uproar like, oh my God, he not innocent. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. But when you are going up against a machine that is trying to run for re-election, like the district attorney was in California and still lost the race, you have to get these big cases. And unfortunately, that's, to me, how these things got over-exaggerated, as well as Tory was the demise of his own self. You are disrespecting the court. You are violating your probation. You are here wilding out. And then you went to the judge for punishment. That was insane. But now we're here. We're here because some new information has come out. I don't know how credible it is. Guess who's only people that can make that decision? The people that are going to review the appeal. However, I want you all to look at some pictures, because one of my issues with Kelsey, and I know a lot of people feel like, well, he tried to pay her. He bribed her. He was trying to bribe her. I feel that he was offering to pay her because he wanted her to tell the truth. That's just what I'm picking up from a lot of this information that is coming out and what I followed. Because when a person receives immunity like George Kaplan in the Diddy federal case, they are free to come in and talk about anything that could possibly render criminal charges, it's like everything is forgiven. But Kelsey sat up on that stand and and took the fifth. She pled the fifth, which means that you got something to hide. You got something to hide. So this is one of the pictures that they used of in their evidence, because there was an eyewitness that recalled seeing two women fighting. Baby, I don't remember any of this coming out in the testimony, because look at her shirt. Why is her shirt torn? Then you go here. Why? How did she get this blood on her if her and Megan, from what I recall in the testimony, she didn't go to that girl aid, but she got blood on her leg. What's your professional and legal opinion? My professional and legal opinion was that Kelsey did it. My professional and legal opinion was Kelsey, in fact, had that gun. In fact, was shooting in whatever direction she was, whether she was intending to shoot towards Megan or not. My professional legal opinion is when Tori went to go grab for that gun and it hit the bullet hit the ground, which the bullet hit the ground and the pellets is how it ended up in Megan's in the back of her foot. However, in the state of Texas, that's considered still an aggravated assault deadly weapon, which is a second-degree felony. And anyone that picks one of those up on their first offense is entitled to probation. The law states probation is on the table. So when she pled the fifth, that told me everything I needed to know about her credibility. Like, I do not find her credible. I think she lied. I think she should have got on that stand and told the truth, because she was free from prosecution. And I think she didn't tell the truth because Tori did not give her that money. So she had it out for him. Oh, you ain't giving the money that you promised me? Oh, well, I ain't getting up there to tell the truth. I ain't getting up in there to tell the truth. So that's my legal opinion about it. Coupled with this new evidence that they have with the individual who said that he was her driver. I don't know how true it is. That I'm gonna leave it up to the appeals court to make that determination. So it wasn't the fact that she wasn't shot. So what essentially they are kind of splitting. You can be shot at and get shot, and there could be a shot that goes off that is not intended for you and you still get shot. So when people hear that description of it, that's why people have that different opinion, the difference of opinion based off of that. So she ended up getting shot. Was she shot at intentionally? No. Was it reckless? Absolutely. Should Kelsey have known what she was doing could result in somebody having serious bodily injury? Absolutely. but they didn't test that. They didn't test her for GSR. Tory did not have GSR on him. That tells you that he was not the one with the gun, and he could not have wiped his hands off and it would have went away. They tested it right then. That's what they're required to do. So if he didn't have GSR on his hands, how could he have shot the gun, y'all? Law enforcement messed this case up. If law enforcement would have done their job, we would have had the identity of the individual's fingerprint on that gun. We would have had the GSR on her hands, and it would have been more clear. But when there is a question of the legitimacy of not only the evidence presented, but the evidence not presented at the hands of the state, that becomes an appealable problem, so long as your lawyer made the record clear. So I just wanted to go over that just a little. What your thoughts on the potential? I don't know. That's why I said I am leaving it into the appellate court's hands to figure it out, because that's above my pay grade. And I'm glad it's above my pay grade, because if it was me and I was up there, I would remand it to the court and make them retry the case. I would remand it, make them retry it, make them test that evidence, make them go and get that fingerprint information, make Chelsea get her ass back on that stand and tell the truth. Because at this point, based off of the evidence and testimony, especially from these witnesses, she should have been charged as well. She should have been charged as well. But like I said, it's political. Why would they only charge her? And there are accounts with both of them tussling, with her being the main holder of the gun. She should have been charged also. And I bet you we would have got the truth. I bet you if she was charged, we would have got the truth. So that's my position on that. Now with that, y'all, we are going to, y'all, today was so, when I say heavy, it was so heavy. Did anyone follow the testimony today? Did anyone follow the testimony today? Because it was bad. What are y'all thoughts so far before we get into it? What are y'all thoughts about today's testimony or what y'all heard? Felicia, I am right there with you. I'm not going to hold you. I am right there with you. So today we heard from Mia, who is Jane Doe, who is a former assistant of Diddy. When I tell y'all, I thought that we were only going to hear such egregious behavior from just Cassie. Now, the employees, yes. But I did not anticipate that Mia was going to come in and bust this case wide open. I did not anticipate. And let me tell you ahead of time, there were people on their jury crying today. There were people on their jury crying today. You are toast when jury members are on that panel crying as they are listening to a victim relive her experience and have the emotion that she had, that she displayed, the hyperventilating that she was having, the tears, the posture of being afraid to look over at Diddy. It was not a good day. Listen, I don't know where you get that from, Kim, but like I said, whenever there are jurors on the panel crying, whoever said that wasn't reliable, I bet you a jury felt that was reliable when they was wiping them tears. Black Ace, this is not the space for those type of comments. That is not the space, because I'm gonna tell you like this. We don't discredit victims. We stand in solidarity with victims. So if you cannot withhold your inability to stand in solidarity with an individual who was great over and over and over again, maybe this may be too triggering for you to withhold such distasteful and disrespectful comments. So back to the testimony day. So actually, they finished up with the stylist. And I don't care, y'all. Deontay was one of my favorites. He was giving it to Donaldson. Donaldson did not know how to. I don't feel like Donaldson knew how to handle him, but I felt like Donaldson at least recovered somewhat today, because when I came on yesterday, I told you, I was like, I don't know what the defense doing. Like, they up here asleep and it ain't looking good. But Donaldson came, and Donaldson was giving that energy that is needed with fact checking Deontay, because Deontay turned him every which way but loose yesterday. But Donaldson, he came back and he held his own a little bit. He held his own. I was like, okay, I see. So after Deontay, y'all gotta go back and read that transcript of Deontay. He had me cracking up. Before we go into the trauma of Mia's testimony. So let's get into it. And I'm going to tell you like this. It's going to be triggering. It is going to be triggering, but I don't want to trigger anyone, but I'm telling you now, it's going to be triggering. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me also... Let's see. Hold on, let me go to my notes, actually. So we're going to start with the working relationship because we're going to have to work our way through this because it was so much. They got through so much with her. In her start with Diddy, she started working for Diddy and off of a recruitment ad. So during her interview, she actually drove herself to New York. She was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm made for. This is what I see myself doing. So she drove, put everything that she had in her car and drove to New York, had her interview. And in that interview with HR, guess what they did? They took her to Diddy's house. And Diddy was not decent. Diddy was having an interview with her in his drawers. In his drawers. That was her first encounter with Diddy. In his drawers. HR leaves. He's still in his drawers. Eventually he gets decent and they put her on a 2-week trial run. Do y'all know this woman started out with $50,000? $50K. Her first day, she worked 24 hours straight, no break, no sleep, and she testified Diddy was the one that was in control of telling us when we can go to sleep or not. They asked her, well, how was you getting by? And she said, oh, I had an extended release of Adderall. So, and then she said that I was up for the challenge. If this is what it took for me to become successful in an industry that I love, I'm up all night. She said she didn't get home until 1 p.m. the following day after being there for 24 hours. Then after her 2-week trial, Diddy asked her to contact some guy named Tony Fletcher and was like, hey, I need you to tell me what your roles and responsibilities for. And I'm like, how is she supposed to tell you what her roles and responsibilities for? Ain't that your job? So this girl had to tell this man what he was supposed to tell her she was responsible for doing. She started out just a personal assistant, doing his social media. She had a BlackBerry that she had to be attached to all day. She said every day was different. You had to dictate your days based off of his mood. And she said his mood was very unpredictable. I'm like, chaotic, chaotic. And this was prior to the boom of social media. So we all know the boom of social media probably happened around 2013, late 2012 at its earliest. The only reason why I remember is because I was going to law school, 2012. And Instagram was still, you didn't have to worry about the algorithm. It was kind of like the inception of Facebook. So one of her roles of maintaining that BlackBerry mean that she had to hold it and respond when she needed to. So she ended up having an apartment. She had roommates. Her roommates was like, girl, we don't never see you. Because there would be times where she testified that she worked 5 days straight, no sleep. Who works 5 days straight, no sleep? And then he told her she could go. He was the one to tell her when she could go to sleep. 5 days. 5 days. Diddy, we just gotta fight. We gotta fight. Like, because ain't no way you finna be disrespecting and playing in my face talking about I gotta stay up for 5 days. We gotta fight. And I'm gonna make sure you're not on your substances so I can get my little one up on you. Because that's what it's gonna take. So she talked about how she had to be he had 3 different properties. When I said a girl list off her memory, she remembered the number and the street name. She named out without hesitation. She was like, yeah, some days I would have to be at 9933 Beverly Grove, or 9374 Beverly Crest, or 200 South Mapleton, Miami at 2-star. I'm like, girl. When she said that, I said, oh, she different. She different. She is not one of those. So in that, she testified that she was forced. She did not have a decision. She was forced to stay at those properties. And that was on one occasion. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. She leaves. She didn't say where she went, but she leaves. Security calls her. Diddy is sending them out to come and get her, to bring her back to the house. 2 a.m. She sneaks out. A grown-ass woman sneaks out. And you have security come back and snatch her back. She also talked about there was this assistant that was there for about 7 to 8 months with her. Then he left. Malcolm left after 7 to 8 months. That Malcolm said, this ain't me. Y'all can go over here and do whatever y'all. No, because Diddy is not fin to have me in shambles. Malcolm, whoever Malcolm is, shout out to Malcolm, because Malcolm said, I'm out of here. Y'all got it. So he eventually hired other assistants, but she was his main assistant. So let's talk about some of her working conditions. She said sometimes he would tell her that she was a piece of shit. Sometimes he would compliment her work. Sometimes he would call her incompetent and stupid, or he would throw things at her. There was an incident where he would throw food at her, y'all. Food. Let me tell you on this particular incident that they identified Because when I tell you it was a lot, it felt like Cassie testifying all over, but from an employee standpoint. They anticipate that she is not going to be done until Monday for both sides. That's how explosive she is. HR is a fucking nuisance. And when I tell y'all what they did, y'all mind's gonna be blown. So she was on her cycle. She was trying to go and change her tampon. But Diddy was asking her to go get someone. And she was like, I gotta go change my tampon. I'm bleeding. He threw a bowl of spaghetti at her. Got up. She takes off running. She is hiding behind a bush because with no shoes, this man is chasing her like a menace. This woman is hiding behind a bush and has to escape and go to a hotel. Do y'all know what HR did the following day? Suspended her without pay because Diddy said she was being insubordinate. There was an incident where I think he was on a video set. Swiss Beast was on the bus with him. The Wi-Fi was acting up. So she's the personal assistant. She is going to try to figure out what is going on with the Wi-Fi. She comes back and she's like, they're working on it. And she was like, I wish I can call Bill Gates to get this done. Diddy throws a computer at her head in front of Swiss Beats. And guess what Swiss do? Sit his natural ass down and does nothing, says nothing. He watched this man throw a computer at this woman and sat on his natural ass and did nothing. But you want us to believe that you are this king of kings. You want us to believe that you are out here, in this perfect marriage, but you are allowing a man to sit in your face and disrespect a woman. You don't get no stripes for that. And you need to come and explain why you set your ass on that couch and saw that man throwing a laptop at a defenseless woman. Y'all, that had me so hot. Let me tell you why it had me hot. Because she explained an experience when, y'all remember Cassie testified to going to a Prince party, sneaking out, going to a Prince party. Diddy walks in, she shoots out. Mia was with her. Because they were like, let's go, shit. Let's go. They did not anticipate him to be there because he lied and said, I'm going to be home with my girls. You lying sack of demons. John Brown, how else will we know? She testified to it. It's on the record. And you know what else can be found? Who was on that set? Y'all be questioning the wrong thing. And sometimes I'll be trying to figure out, are y'all okay? That's what I'll be trying to figure out. But back to the Prince party. So Diddy sees her. Mia freezes. Cassie belts out. Diddy runs after her, chase her down, pin her on the ground outside, and he is about to put belt to ass on her. But guess who don't play and then play about a man beating a woman in front of him? Prince. Prince said, not on my property, not in my house. You done fucked around and found out this time. Because I may be smaller than you, but I'll put belt to ass. You on my property trying to beat a woman. His security said, we don't do that here. And Diddy left. I said he should have left like the coward that he was. I said Prince stood on motherfucking business. And he deserved all the flowers for that. I'm so glad that came out in a testimony, because all these simps and ass kissers sitting around allowing this man to beat and degrade people for a check. So in lieu of Prince, please put some purple hearts in the comment section, because we got this. Out of all of this, outside of Deontay, there has been only two men, outside of anybody else, that has stood toe to toe and corrected Diddy, and that's Deontay, and that is Prince, the legend. So yes, Prince was, I've heard so many good stories about Prince's character. Prince was a thug, and let me tell y'all something. Prince was a thug, and the thugs loved Prince. Listen, some of the biggest gangsters, baby, when that Prince come on, they turn into one of the softest teddy bears when that Prince come on. And now I get it. Yeah. Yep. So after that incident, y'all, it got worse and it got worse. So Mia testified that her and Cassie ended up becoming like this. But the only thing is, Mia never told Cassie what she was going through. Mia never told Cassie about any of the incidents. But Diddy put her up to spy on Cassie, to tell him Cassie's every move. But soon they became allies. But every occasion, y'all, and this is why I said this adds to, in my opinion, false imprisonment. He would not allow her to leave his property without permission. She couldn't go up the street without permission. She couldn't go out of town without permission. She couldn't go see her parents without permission. She couldn't even go to the doctor without permission. The fuck? Let's continue with some of his abuse. They were in Turks and Caicos. Why did Diddy come into her room while she is laying on a hammock and pour a bucket of ice on her head. Poured a bucket of ice, took her phone, and Mia said, "Oh shit, we've been talking shit in that phone. Give me my phone." Like tussling. She tried to get her phone back, but homegirl took off. She's like, "Nah, you're not finna put belt to ass on me. You're not." But in that, he threw her in the pool, y'all. This man threw her in the pool and took her phone, then proceeded to tell her that he got into her phone, which was a bad boy phone, got into her phone and sent some of her compromising images to himself. So, literally her PO, Kevin, you said it right. So, in this, y'all, after this particular incident, when he told her that, Mia was like, "I know you lying because there was never any compromising images in there," but he was trying to play those mind games because what he told her, he sent those to himself just in case, because he knew she had stuff on him, so he had to get stuff on her. What kind of fucking employer is this? What kind of employer is this? Y'all, and it don't stop there. It does not stop there. This Negro kept going and going and go. He threw a bowl of turkey at her. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Ice, bucket, computer, spaghetti. So she ends up getting a position to be a part of Revolt because one of her passions was scripted TV, more so comedy. That's her first job in kind of in New York before she got with Diddy was Michael Myers. Y'all know Michael Myers, the funny guy. Stephanie from His Kitchen, probably. Now that's the reason why it makes sense. Turkey, because you remember Capricorn asked for some turkey bacon and the chef said that they didn't have any, and Diddy made a whole scene about it. He made a whole scene about it. So she tells Diddy like, "Hey, one of my passions," because like she said, he would have certain days he would be in the mood, certain days he wouldn't. So some days he'll treat me like I'm his best friend, then other days he would treat me like I ain't shit. So in this, y'all, she says that she started with a position with Revolt. She ended up getting an increase of 70K up to 100K. She was supposed to get bonuses, y'all. Do y'all think she got those bonuses? Do y'all think she got that money? That tampon incident was insane, y'all. Was insane. So she starts working at Revolt, and this is when we can start talking about the violence, because we're gonna get into Cassie, but we are on Mia because Mia is the star in this sequel right now. So she starts working at Revolt. There was an incident where she was at the office. Diddy brings his ass in there and take her phone again. And she like, "Oh shit, I know we was in there talking shit about him. Because y'all already know. Listen, me and my co-workers, one thing we gonna do, we gonna get in a group chat and we gonna cut up in that group chat. One thing we gonna do, we gonna talk cash money. We gonna cash that check. We gonna deposit that check. We gonna spend that check, all talking about you. So when he took her phone, she like, oh shit, I know I called him an asshole and now I gotta get that phone back. So she's running through the Revolt Studios. And he runs into the bathroom, but she gets her arm slightly in. And you know what this Negro did? Was slamming the door on her arm. Slamming their door. So y'all know all of these incidents is adding up, especially under Rico. Let me tell you why. When she talked about Cassie, and they asked her, because Cassie confirmed that everything was in Diddy's name. Everything was in Diddy's company's name. The apartments, the hotel rooms, the cars, anything. And she confirmed, like, yes. And when he said that she would do something that he wouldn't like, he would take it away. Just the same as her. He would take things away from her as well. Like he took her phone. And after that assault, let me tell you what the prosecutors was doing. They were taking you on a traumatic experience, but they were doing it in such a delicate way. So after he slammed her arm in the door, she emails Tony Fletcher. And she tells Tony, she was like, Diddy took my phone. I don't know when I would get it back. Tony asks what happened. She said, we would have to talk in person. And the reason why she did not put anything in that email is because she said she did not want to put violence in the email. But they used that to confirm that this incident happened, that there is a paper trail, because what the defense would come and say or try to exclude, because there is no documentation, because HR was a piece of shit. And what she did was created a paper trail with that, which also workplace violence. Workplace violence. Let me see what some of the words that he would call her. Oh, y'all, let me tell y'all, I ain't even tell y'all this. Do y'all want to know what one of her roles and responsibilities was? Hold on, let me get this up off here. To crack his knuckles and pay his taxes. Crack his knuckles, pay his taxes. Do what? That's sexual harassment at that point. And this is above my pay grade. I don't do taxes. The man is some... Y'all. I don't know. Kiara, don't do that. Kiara, do not do that. Listen, I said the same thing. I'm like, you want me to crack your knuckles and pay do your taxes? Sir, you don't got a CPA? Yes, she was responsible for the supplying the rooms for the freak offs, as well as cleaning up. And what she testified to, y'all, with that responsibility, when she would go clean up, she said sometimes, she said the rooms are always in a mess. But what she specifically stated was that there would be blood, and she asked Diddy what the blood was, and he told her, period blood. And y'all remember when Cassie testified to that, and then people had questions about the legitimacy of it? Well, guess who can confirm that there was blood that they had to clean up, because they wanted to make sure, because they name dropped, we wanted to make sure blogs like TMZ could not get a hold of this information, because we knew that housekeeping would definitely send this to the Peps. She said it. George Kaplan also said, and I feel like because George Kaplan came after her, she trained him on that. She told him about that. Now it's all making sense. Now everything is being linked together. Linked. So when we're talking about why was it taking so long for the government to get to their point, I continue to say the government was slow cooking. They were taking it. They would say, oh, we got this ingredient today. We got this ingredient tomorrow. And by the end of this, guess what? It's going to be tasting like some of the best New Orleans gumbo that you would have ever had. So after which instant, because baby, when I say she talked about so much, she talked about so much. It's in a crock pot. It is in a crock pot. Okay, before I get to some of the explosive details, because I'm going to end with that. She talked about Diddy's relationship with Cassie and how they became close over the years because of that relationship. And because, the shit was real. She remembered an incident, which I believe it was because of a freak off. She had to email Interscope and Stephen Hill from BET because Cassie had a meeting, but she had to cancel it at 4 a.m. And I'm like, for what? He was in there doing a freak off? They would be on movie sets. Cassie getting her shine on. Diddy shows up, the temperature changes. Because everyone would be nervous around him. She confirmed that he was in charge of Cassie's career, her look, everything her finance, everything he was in charge of. And he would unplug it whenever he wanted to and plug it back up when he wanted to. He would always dangle her career over her. There was an incident where Diddy was putting the blogs for being with the girl Gina. And she remembered Cassie saying, he doesn't care about my image or my career. Like he just does things that jeopardizes my career. And she said that Cassie wasn't jealous of Gina. She was pissed off that Diddy would play in her face and play in her career face. So she talked about the cars I talked about the cars being in the company name. Oh, y'all, them tabs, baby. Them tabs was real. Them tabs were real. The apartment incident, she confirmed what Deontay said and what Cassie said. She said They were at Cassie's apartment helping her get ready to pack for London. Apparently Diddy didn't get a hold of Cassie and she didn't answer. He comes and he banging on the door. He goes down because he got what? Access, because the apartment is in the who name? The company name. And he is who? The company CEO. He goes and gets a key, lets himself in, comes in, start attacking her and Dante. Like, basically, why y'all like getting in their face? Then they're trying to keep him out of getting to Cassie. He asks Cassie, "You been drinking?" Because you ain't answer that phone. Then he goes and getting Deontay face. "You been drinking?" I'm like, what screw screw was loose that day? He was just he was insane. Like, they said that man came in insane. So they thought that they just knew he was finna go and attack Cassie. So guess what? Just like true friends, she had two friends, y'all. They both was trying to tag team this man. Deontay with his fabulous self. You know when you have one of those gay friends, and when they get into they standing on business, like, you ain't finna touch my friend. She said that Deontay jumped on that man's back. And I'm not laughing because of the situation. I'm thinking about how friends show up for friends when somebody is trying to play with you. So Deontay jumped on his back and instantly got slinged off. Here come Mia with her paper thin behind, trying to do the same thing. Then he gets onto Dante. She says she feels like the position that he had Dante in, he was going to kill Dante based off of how he was positioned. So she said she jumped on his back again and he threw her off. And she fell into the wall. And she was like, at that moment, I realized we were in much more danger. And that's when he got a hold of Cassie. And Cassie did not fall into that rail. Diddy drove her head into that rail. He slammed it intentionally. She saw it. Deontay didn't see it. She saw it. And instantly blood started gushing out of Cassie's eye. And she said at that moment, he like, oh, I'm so concerned. I'm so concerned. Call the doctors. Call 911. Call 911, but you better lie. Call 911, but you better lie. He said, what he told he said to tell the doctor and 911 that Cassie was drunk and fell into the bed frame. Y'all know that's another indication of the charges that they got against him. You're telling your employee who witnessed you assault your other employee to tell law enforcement or 911 a lie to cover up your crime that happened in your company apartment. Rico! I'm just saying. Oh yeah, it was the doctors. It was the doctors. Same thing. Like, I mean, difference is it's not documented by 911 because y'all know 911 is so annoying these days. Like, that gets on my nerves. I'm like, get to the point with your question. Like, somebody can be coming in my house and you just out here asking all these stupid questions. So they then asked her about his drug use. She said he was a druggie. But on that night, they said, did he seem like he was high? She was like, no, he seemed like he was sober. And she would know because she was aware. She confirmed those injuries that Cassie had in Canes. Cassie had for her movie premiere, the busted lip. Her and Larry Sims, her hairstylist, was there when to see the condition. Cassie has a audio recording of one of her attacks from Diddy. And she testified to it. And she testified that she heard someone getting hit. She talked about the Kid Cudi situation. She was not present, but she talked about how he looked sad after the fact. And she, was concerned, so she contacted D-Rock and she was like, hey, I ain't never seen Pete in this condition. So fucking what? I would have let him ride. She talked about an incident where Cassie, they were in London, at the Hotel London in New York. She went to the hotel room. Cassie opened the door wearing a bright blue wig, disassociated from herself. And she was struggling. She talked about an occasion where Diddy, Cassie called her and said, Diddy wants me to do a freak off. I don't want to do it. She confirmed that Cassie said on multiple occasions that she did not like those freak offs. She did not want to do them. She was over them. She also talked about how Diddy introduced her to drugs and made her take drugs. He told her in order to be a part of the Breakfast Club, you got to take drugs. So he introduced her first to MDMA and then told her, welcome to the Breakfast Club. He said, you in the cool kids club now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was an occasion where Diddy was having some kind of situation at one of his places. There were white plates of substances on it, lines of substances. Everybody was it was the ketamine. He introduced her to ketamine. She pretended to take it. He saw it, that she was faking, and he made her snort it. He separated it and made her snort it. He said, you gonna mess up the vibes. She said, I even tried to blow some of it out my nose. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Insane, right? Absolutely. Imagine taking pride in being drug-free and then someone does that to you. So listen, after this particular situation, she talked about, y'all remember that incident in Turks that Cassie talked about? Cassie was asleep. This was in 2012. No, she was asleep. Cassie ran into her room saying, he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. You know what they did? They put the furniture on the door to keep him from coming in. And the way that her room was positioned, she was positioned by the pool. So they ran out because outside of the pool, it was an open space. And she said the thing that she remembered the most, and this was probably the only thing that made her laugh, was that the bugs, she said no matter how fast they're running, the bugs was attacking them. She admitted that she never called the police because she knew Diddy was above the police. And because there was no Me Too movement and because there was no social media, who was going to believe her with this powerful man? And the fact that she thought that NDA precluded her from getting assistance, because then she would have to tell. Nobody tells people when they sign an NDA that NDAs does not cover crimes. You cannot stop someone or preclude someone by signing an NDA and then you're committing crimes. Don't work like that. It does not work like that. Like in the state of Texas the other day, they just passed a bill that individuals who settle on sex assault cases no longer, the individual who they sue no longer gets the benefit to have an NDA. I was like, well, goddamn, y'all better stop abusing people and stop raping people. Y'all better stop raping. So, y'all, she went through so much. Can we get to 200 likes? We almost got 300 people in the chat, and we need to get those likes up. Likes up. Likes up. It's so easy. I promise you, it's so easy. Let me tell the story and you do the likes. I think that's a fair trade. So now let's get into the hardest part is the grape. So they asked her, when was the first time Diddy assaulted her? She said, in his penthouse at his 40th birthday. This was during her first year. It was within a few months of her being there in the position. She said he told her to come here and he had everyone clear out the room. He said, we're going to be working close together, extremely close. So he gave her a shot of vodka, 2 shots. They had 2 shots. And she was like, I can take I can take a shot or two. But she started feeling, instantly her body started to feel different. Her eyes became unfocused. And she said that he went up her shirt, kissed her. Instantly, she like, what is going on? What is going on? And he started to grape her. She said her body froze. She was like, I didn't know what to do. She said she felt ashamed. She felt y'all, what this woman had to go through. And I know people say, well, she stayed, but what she had to go through, he should not have forced himself on her. Because after that, he continued to grope her. He made her perform oral sex on him. There was an occasion when she was in a bunk bed, sleep, at his Beverly Grove home, because the women were not allowed to have doors or locks. He said, this my house. You don't get a door or a lock. But the men had security keypads, had deadbolts, but the women were not allowed, which means that he can come in whenever he wanted to. So on this night, she was asleep. He came in, she said he came in and he undid. He held her with one hand, undid his pants, got her stuff, sticked his in, and graped her. She froze because she said, here I am asleep, and here he comes graping me. There was another incident at the Beverly Hills Crest House. He was in the closet. She was where he was at, I forgot what she was doing, but he forced her to have oral on him. He said, take it out and put it in your mouth. There was an incident when they were flying on a jet. There were people on the jet. He told her, oh, come. She was like, it's people on the plane. She was like, it's people. She was trying to give him every excuse. He was like, no. Made her give him oral on that plane. Now, you are at this moment, you are sexually assaulting someone that is in the sky. That is interstate commerce. Not to mention city from city that he was doing this to her. This is so heavy. They asked her, did she ever tell him no? She said, I could never tell him no. She said, I couldn't even tell him no about a sandwich. Hold on, y'all. I couldn't even tell him no about a sandwich. She said he was so powerful. HR would never do anything. I would be blackballed from this industry. No one would ever want to work with me. I would not be able to do what I work so hard to do. And she said, I was afraid that his goons would kill me. if I said anything. But God says, all I need is one. That's all I need. All I need is one. And that one was Kayla Faulkner. Kayla was the only person at that time. She filed a lawsuit for these things. HR called Mia in and told Mia she was going, if with this lawsuit, she was going to have to testify and say that she was fired. Hold on. Because she punched me and she was drunk. Remember, all we need is one. And Kayla, whether she knows it or not, she put this on her back. And now they are carrying it. When everybody turned against her, she stood firm and she stood tall. They also told her she would have to testify against Capricorn. You remember when she filed, she had that settlement? But that went away. And all this time they said, did Cassie know? She said, I never told Cassie about my experience because he would do it when she wasn't around. Y'all, I am so proud of these women because it takes a lot when the world sees somebody so powerful and reduce your voice. I don't think Kayla will ever understand that the silence and the isolation and the blackballing that she received would ultimately, victory would come back and spin the block for her. So with that, we are not done. Like, she's still on the stand, but I want to end it here because it's so heavy. And I also have to get on fan base in the audio room to break it down as well. So if y'all want to come to fan base, it's the Public Opinion Courts over there. But before y'all leave, y'all, how many likes we got? Because I need to make sure y'all are liking. So tomorrow is going to be heavy cross-examination. I'll tell you this. The defense couldn't do anything but sit there and listen. And whenever a jury is crying, that's not good. It's not good at all. So make sure you are following me on, you have my personal, which is Lawyer Bay ESQ. My business page is the BYOB Firm on Instagram, where we teach entrepreneurs how to properly form and protect their business. So if you are a business owner and you want to do an assessment of your business to see if you are on the right track, we do business formation, intellectual property, contract templates, as well as crisis management. So all I'm gonna say is, if you know that you ain't out here in these streets doing right by your business, book your consultation with the BYOB firm. And also, like always, I have published a book called Shut Up and Prosecute, where we help, where I have basically broken down the criminal justice system and the discrimination and the injustice that I went through as a prosecutor. And I'm highlighting, I name names. Ain't nobody safe in these streets, because you're not going to be playing with people's lives. And Shut Up and Prosecute is my first book. It is on Amazon. So if you would like to support me by purchasing my book, please head to Amazon. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have an amazing night. We will be back tomorrow. The reason why I say follow me on either my TikTok, Public Opinion Court, or Instagram is because throughout the day, I post updates. Like, I'm breaking it down as the explosiveness is coming out. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you are following. And also my YouTube, the Public Opinion Court. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because listen, I'm bringing it to you hot off the press before you get to me at 7 p.m., which I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. So y'all go decompress, go drink y'all some wine, go unwind, because we'll be back tomorrow. And thank y'all for tuning in to the Public Opinion Court in collaboration with Real Life Street Stars, where the truth ain't reality, but opinions are. Y'all have an amazing night.